I'm Sophia Carter, and the day my father told me that I was now responsible for my older sister's life was the day I realized that in my family, being the successful one didn't mean being respected, it meant being used. My sister, Olivia, had always been the favorite, the softer one, the emotional one, the one everyone protected, while I was the strong one, the independent one, the one who didn't need help. At least that's what they told themselves. When Olivia got married 5 years ago, it was the kind of wedding that looked perfect in photos. White roses, country club reception, expensive smiles, and a husband named Mark who shook hands firmly and spoke confidently about building a future. I remember watching her walk down the aisle thinking, I hope this works, because she has never learned how to stand alone. It didn't work. 2 years later, the late-night phone calls started. Whispers, crying, excuses, then silence, and finally, divorce papers. Mark left. Not dramatically, not violently, just strategically. He had structured everything carefully. The house was in his name, the savings were tied to his business. Olivia walked away with furniture and heartbreak. That's when my father called me. Sophia, he said, your sister is coming to stay with you. He didn't ask, he informed. For how long? I asked. As long as she needs. And what does she need? Support. I paused. And why is that my responsibility? Because you're the stable one. Stable. It's a compliment that feels like a burden. 2 weeks later, Olivia arrived at my house with 3 suitcases, red eyes, and the kind of quiet that fills rooms with tension. My house wasn't small, but it wasn't meant for 2 adults rebuilding their lives. She hugged me tightly. I don't know what I'm going to do, she whispered, and for a moment I felt sorry for her. But sympathy has limits when it becomes expectation. The first month was peaceful. She stayed in the guest room. I covered groceries, utilities, internet, streaming subscriptions she insisted helped her cope. She slept late, watched TV, scrolled endlessly. Whenever I gently asked about job applications, she would say, I'm healing. Healing is important, but so is responsibility. By month 2, small tensions became visible cracks. She began rearranging my kitchen, commenting on my schedule, criticizing how much I worked. You're always busy, she said one night. Yes, I replied calmly. That's how bills get paid. She didn't laugh. Instead, she said, you don't understand what I'm going through. I didn't respond, because I understood something she didn't: survival. One evening, my father came over. He sat at my dining table like a judge reviewing a case. Sophia, he began, Olivia says you've been distant. I blinked. Distant? She feels unsupported. I looked at Olivia. She avoided eye contact. I've paid for everything for 8 weeks, I said calmly. That's not support? Dad sighed. It's not about money. It's always about money, just not when they're spending yours. I realized something that night. This wasn't temporary. They expected me to carry her indefinitely, so I changed strategy. I didn't argue. I didn't complain. I made a plan. The next morning at breakfast, I placed a folder in front of Olivia. What's this? She asked. A transition plan. She frowned. Inside were 3 sections: budget, job listings, move-out timeline. She looked stunned. You're kicking me out? I'm helping you rebuild. She started crying. Dad called within an hour. How could you pressure her like that? I'm not pressuring her, I'm preparing her. Silence. That same week, something unexpected happened. Olivia got an interview, then another, then a job offer. Entry-level marketing assistant. Not glamorous, but real. She didn't celebrate, she complained. The salary is low. So was mine once, I replied. 3 months passed. She started waking up early, buying her own groceries, contributing to utilities. Small changes, big shift. And slowly, the dynamic changed. She stopped rearranging my kitchen, stopped criticizing my work, started asking questions. How did you save your first 100,000? She asked one evening. Discipline and sacrifice. She grew quieter after that. 6 months after moving in, she handed me an envelope. First rent payment. Not large, but symbolic. I didn't smile dramatically. I simply said, "I'm proud of you." For the first time, she believed me. A year later, Olivia lived into her own apartment. Small, bright, hers. Dad came over again. This time, his tone was different. "You handled that well," he admitted. I didn't say "I told you so." I simply replied, "She just needed boundaries." Because here's the truth no one talks about. Helping someone doesn't mean carrying them, it means teaching them how to stand. Olivia and I are closer now, not because I saved her, but because I refused to let her stay broken. And Dad? He stopped ordering me around, because respect grows when you stop accepting misplaced responsibility. I'm Sophia Carter, and being the strong one in the family doesn't mean being the silent one. It means knowing when support ends and self-respect begins. I'm Sophia Carter, and just when I thought the hardest chapter of my sister's life was over, her ex-husband showed up at her new apartment door with flowers in his hand and regret in his voice. Olivia had finally rebuilt herself. New job, new apartment, new routine. She wasn't the same fragile woman who arrived at my house with red eyes and 3 suitcases. She had discipline now, structure, pride. And that's exactly when Mark came back. It's funny how men reappear the moment a woman stops looking broken. He texted her first. "I've been thinking." That sentence alone should come with a warning label. Then he called. Then he showed up. Olivia told me everything. "I think he's changed," she said softly. I didn't react immediately. "What exactly changed?" I asked. "He says he made mistakes." Of course he did. Men like Mark don't lose love, they lose control, and when they feel it slipping, they return. Apparently, his business wasn't doing well. Apparently, the woman he left Olivia for didn't stay. Apparently, regret becomes loud when success becomes quiet. Dad got involved again. "You should at least hear him out," he told Olivia. I watched the cycle trying to restart itself. This time, I didn't interfere emotionally. I observed. Mark invited Olivia to dinner, apologized publicly, spoke about therapy, growth, lessons learned. He even said, "I was intimidated by your potential." Classic. Blame insecurity, ask for forgiveness, reset the narrative. Olivia was confused. Healing makes you stronger, but it also makes you hopeful, and hope can be dangerous when directed at someone who once broke you. Weeks passed. Mark increased his efforts. Gifts, surprises, public compliments. He painted himself as a changed man. Dad was convinced. "People deserve second chances," he repeated. Maybe they do, but second chances require new behavior, not new speeches. Then something happened that confirmed my instincts. Mark asked Olivia to quit her job. "Why would he do that?" I asked calmly. "He says we should start fresh in another city." Another city, away from her independence, away from her support system, away from the stability she built. It wasn't reconciliation, it was relocation. Control just sounds softer when wrapped in romance. Olivia was torn. "He says he'll take care of everything." I looked at her carefully. "You don't need someone to take care of everything. You learned how to take care of yourself." That night she cried, not because she wanted him, but because she wanted the story to end differently. We all do. We want villains to evolve. We want apologies to fix damage. But sometimes growth isn't about forgiving others. It's about remembering who you became without them. Mark escalated. He showed up at family dinner, brought wine, spoke respectfully, complimented Dad, called me impressive. I almost smiled. Not because I believed him, but because I saw the strategy: charm the family, create pressure, isolate the target. After dinner, he pulled Olivia aside, proposed again, not with a ring, but with promises. "I'll put everything in your name this time," he said. Interesting. The man who once protected assets suddenly wanted to transfer them. That's when I decided to investigate quietly. Not dramatically, just intelligently. A friend of mine works in corporate compliance. A simple background review revealed something important.
Mark's business was drowning, debt restructuring, pending lawsuits, investors pulling out. He didn't want Olivia back, he wanted financial stability, and Olivia, now earning well and rebuilding credit, looked like opportunity. I invited Mark to coffee, alone. He seemed confident, until I placed printed documents on the table, court filings, debt notices, financial statements. His face changed. "You've been busy," he muttered. "I believe in informed decisions. Are you planning to tell Olivia?" He leaned back. "It's temporary. So is debt," I said. "So is trust." He tried to explain, blame market conditions, blame partners, blame timing. But accountability never entered the conversation, and that's when I knew he hadn't changed, he had adapted. There's a difference. That evening, I didn't tell Olivia what to do, I simply gave her the information.